DreAllDay.com.
You're now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day, to do the work, confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. That is the go-getter energy that moves all of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of wait for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques, all underneath the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called work on your game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is, what is your reason for existing? Why are you even in the game? Why are you showing up here? Why are you here? Why should anyone pay attention to you when they have, let's say, the choices of everything else that they could be doing, everyone else and everything else that they could be paying attention to? Why are you the one that they should be giving their resources to, whether that's their time, money, attention, their energy, or their focus, or a combination of all of the above? We get into where this question comes from and how you can, why you need to answer it and how you can start answering it in a moment. First, let me tell all of you how I can give you some more game. I want to send you a daily motivation text that I send out every single day for free to everyone who's in my text community. All you got to do to raise your hand and let me know you want to receive it is to text me. My number is 305-384-6894. So since you already have your phone in your pocket right now or in your hand, just text me at that number right now. Here's the number again: 305-384-6894. Send a text to that number, and every day when I send out my daily motivation, guess what? You're going to receive it straight to your phone, guaranteed to keep you focused, sharp, and on point for the day in front of you. Then this show is going to further enforce. It's not always going to be the same message. No, the text and this are not going to be correlated, but you're going to get further gain from this show because it's going to be a lot longer than what you get in the text message. Then the next step is you get the books. Then the next step, get the Bulletproof Bulletin, which I'll tell you about. And the next step is joining the university. We'll get into all of that at a later time. But first, let's get into today's topic, which is, what is your reason for existing? In other words, why are you taking up space in the marketplace? And if you don't have an answer to this question, then what you do have is a problem. I heard a marketing guy named Dan Kennedy. He was talking about this in a training that I was taking, and it was at one of his seminars. He's talking about it, and this is a damn good question. It's another version of a question that I've asked before, which is, what's your purpose here? Why should anybody choose you over all the other options and all the alternatives that are available to them? And again, this is a question that you must have an answer to. And I feel as though I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs out there. I see a lot of influencers out there. I see a lot of salespeople out there. I see a lot of products. I see a lot of podcasts. I see a lot of books that are out there, and they seem to be, I could be wrong about this because I haven't spoken to each of these individual people, but it seems to me that a lot of people put their stuff or their ideas or whatever out there just so they can say that they put something out there, not because it is actually needed, not because there's any strategy for how they're going to get it into the hands of the people who could benefit from it, but just so they can say, hey, I did this, just so they can say, hey, I wrote a book. So when they put their book out there, most of the books on Amazon are collecting digital dust because nobody's buying them. Most of the podcasts are also collecting digital dust because nobody's listening to them. And most of the people out there who feel like they have a message to share, their message is not getting heard because they don't even know why they are someone that someone should listen to. They haven't expressed that, and therefore they're not getting any attention. They can't get any traction on what they're doing. So I like his wording and the way he asked it, which is, what's your reason for existing? So let's expound on that question. Point number one. Today's topic, once again, is, what is your reason for existing? What do you bring to the table that no one else is bringing? Is another version of the same question. So here's point number one. If you, in your space, wherever you need to answer this question, whether you're a thought leader, you're an author, you're a podcaster, you're an influencer, you're a worker at a job, you're an athlete on a sports team, you're a fill in the blank on a fill in the blank, whatever it is that you do, here's the question. If you disappeared off the face of the earth today, what would then be missing that cannot be replaced? So let's just fill in the blank here. Let's give it some context. If you're a basketball player on a basketball team right now, if you disappeared, let's just say you stopped playing on the team, you quit the team, you disappeared from the team, you just decided you don't play basketball anymore, What is that team that you're on right now? What is the team going to be missing that no one else can step up and replace what you bring to the table? Is there anything? If you have a YouTube channel and you just shut down your channel, you're not posting any more videos, what is missing from the YouTube sphere now without you, that without you there, nobody else can replace it? If you're a member of, if you're on a business team, whatever company you work for right now, if you stop working there, what will be missing from that company that without you, nobody else can do it? In other words, where are you irreplaceable? Where can you not be replaced? This question is contrary to what many people think. This is not a question about what your actual skill set is. Some people, when I ask them this question, they start answering the question and they start talking about what they're capable of. That's not the question. The question is not what you are capable of. Now, you look at myself. I'm capable of podcasting, writing books, and I played basketball. But I don't play basketball anymore. I don't think the game of basketball halted when I stopped playing. It kept going. I have a podcast, but if I shut down this show, well, podcasting will continue to go. But I believe there is, and I can articulate, there's a certain niche that I exist in when it comes to what I talk about and how I talk about it that nobody else can replicate. And that's the reason why people listen to my show. Same thing when it comes to the books that I put out, or if I do a speaking gig, or I offer coaching or mastermind or something like that. So you need to figure out, what are you bringing to the table that when you go away, that thing just goes with you? Nobody else can step up and say, all right, well, you're gone, or somebody else can do that. This is not a question of skill set. So don't start talking about what you can do. Start talking about what nobody else can do that you can do. That's the key. And you might be able to do 20 things, but it may only be one thing that nobody else can do. That's the thing that you want to focus on. See, the way most people think of things, they start talking about what they are capable of. Here's the problem with talking about that, is that nobody cares what you're capable of. People don't really care what you can do. I work with people who are very capable of several things. The challenge is they haven't figured out a way to articulate, or at least by the time when they come to me, they haven't figured out a way to articulate what about their capabilities makes them irreplaceable, thusly raises their value, thusly puts them in a position where someone has to buy from them. Because if you don't put people in a position where they have to buy from you, well, then they don't have to. You're a commodity, and that becomes, as Seth Godin says, a race to the bottom. And a race to the bottom means your price gets lower and lower, and then you eventually become the Walmart of what you're doing. And you ever been to Walmart? All right, how much does stuff cost in Walmart? All right, what's Walmart's slogan? Everyday low prices. All right, you don't want to have everyday low prices. I don't think you want to survive on that. So what can you do that cannot be replaced? And this doesn't have to be, let me be clear here, this is a lifeline for you. It doesn't have to be for the whole world. The whole world does not have to agree that you offer something that can't be replaced. Just your market, meaning the people who you serve, need to believe you offer something that can't be replaced. That the people you serve might only be 5,000 people, might be 50 people, might be 2 people. If depending on what you're selling and who you're selling it to, it doesn't have to be the whole world. It just got to be the people who know about you. They need to believe that there's something that you bring that they can't get it from anywhere else. What is that for you? So this is more of a question of how you, to be clear, how you position yourself and how you talk about yourself and what space you wish to occupy in your areas of value and expertise. This is not necessarily about you needing to go and develop some new skills just because I'm offering you this question. It's about how do you talk about yourself in a way that people understand and agree that what you bring to the table cannot be replicated by anyone else. You follow what I'm saying here? So for example, as I said earlier, I played pro basketball, I've written books, I have a podcast, I got YouTube videos, I'm an athlete, I probably got some other skills I'm not thinking of right now. But when it comes to the way I position myself, I can choose amongst all of that. All right, you are the exact same way. So you may be good at several things. You may have several skills and multiple abilities in many areas in which you can offer value. The key is, though, how are you going to position yourself? And which of these skills are you going to focus on to put at the forefront of talking about yourself so that you can be perceived in the marketplace the way you want to be perceived? See, I don't come on the show every day and tell you that I play basketball and I write books and I got a podcast and I do this and I do that. I can name 20 things that I'm capable of, that I'm good at, even that I make money from. But all of those things, first of all, you're not going to remember all of them. And secondly, are all of those things what you want from me? All right, how many people tune into this show so you can learn how to shoot a jump shot? Probably nobody, because I'm not even talking about that here on the show, even though I'm capable of it. So it's figuring out what is it about you that makes the people who are interested in you and that you are also interested in, what makes them keep coming back? That's the question you want to answer. I know what that is for me, and I talk about it every day when I open the show. Discipline, confidence, mental toughness, personal initiative. The fact that I'll talk about subjects that a lot of people don't want to talk about. The fact that I break things down analytically and strategically, and I'm not talking about it so much in a subjective way. I try to be as objective as I possibly can and point it out to you. Those are the things that people like. The people who listen to the show, those are the things that people are attracted to. Those are the things that I focus on. Even though I have 100 other things that I could focus on, I focus on this. And there's a little hint for you there. You want to figure out one specific thing, because most people are not going to remember more than one thing about you. There may be more than one thing about you. They won't remember more than one thing about you. So the question is, looking at you as a whole, what about you is least replaceable? And your marketing of yourself should be based around that answer. Whether you're a business, whether you're a person, whether you're trying to get a job, whether you're starting a company, anything else. The less replaceable you or that attribute is, you are or the attribute is, the more valuable you become. Point number 2. Topic again today is, what is your reason for existing? Number 2, an easy way for you to answer this question. Now that I gave you that question and now you're perplexed and trying to figure out how to answer it, let me help you out. Here's an easy way to answer it. Ready? Go to the people who have already gotten value from you, the people who are already interested in you. They've already shown you that they're interested, even though you had never had this question occur to you before, so you made it work anyway. And ask them, what is it about you that makes you the person that they want to work with, or the person that they listen to, or the person that they hired, or the person that they buy from, or the person that they go to when they need something in area X. Ask the people who are already bought into you, why are they bought into you? And here's what's going to happen. It's going to be like magic. They will tell you. They will tell you what it is about you that makes them want to deal with you. And usually they're going to focus on one thing. Even though, like I just told you, you probably got 20, 30, 50 skills. They're not going to name 50 things. They're going to name usually one thing. Usually the first thing that they say is usually the thing that most draws them to you. The thing that magnetizes you and them together is usually the first thing that they say. So I'll tell you with me. When I talk to people who are in my audience and I ask them, what is it about me and my approach? Being that I'm talking about things that, it's not like I'm talking about some brand new invention that I created. I didn't create mental toughness and strategy and business. I didn't create these things that I talk about. So being that I'm not the only person in the world talking about these things, why do you want to hear it from me when you could hear it from 1,000 other people who are out there also talking about a similar subject? Why me? Ask this question, folks. And again, your audience, the people in your audience are not stupid, or they know that they have other options, but they chose you. And there's a reason why they chose you. You need to ask this question. So ask them and they will tell you. This is what people say to me. Number one answer that I usually get is, Dre, you keep it real. You're honest. You get straight to the point. You're no bullshit. And you talk about things in a direct, clear way. That's it. Now, my areas of expertise, the skill sets that I have, those are sub reasons. The main reason is what I just told you. Those are the things that people want from me. So that's how I can, if you look at the episode titles of this show, wherever you're listening to this right now, you just scroll through and look at the titles of every episode that I've done here. You notice that I kind of jump around and talk about different things. But the reason why I can do that is because the show is not about any one particular thing. The show is about me talking about different things, and the through line is you keep it real, you're honest, you get straight to the point, you're not bullshitting. That's the thing that people want from me. You need to know that answer for you. And that's what you need to base all of your business, all of your marketing, all of your everything needs to be based around that through line. And then you can take all your other skills and you can just use them as sub points to that. So when I talk about basketball, I was doing it the same way. When I write a book, it's the same thing. When I give a speech, it's the same thing. If I'm working with somebody one-on-one, it's the same thing. And the topics can change, but the through line is what I just told you. You need to figure out what that through line is. And again, you don't need to figure this out, folks. Just ask the people who are already dealing with you. You don't have to have a huge audience. You can have 20 customers. If you ask all 20, you're going to get you're going to hear the same answer over and over again enough that you're going to know what it is. So go and find out, talk to the people, ask them the question, ask it directly, and let them tell you. Just ask the question, be quiet, and let them answer. They will tell you exactly what it is. So being that you're probably doing something that there are other people in the world who are also doing, as I just said, the people who have chosen you, they know this. So ask them, why you of all the options that they have? If any of you is married, now ask your significant other, all right, why me? All right, I'm not the only man or woman or whatever you call yourself. I'm not the only one out there. Why me? They're going to tell you. They will tell you what it is about you that makes you their choice. Their answers are the baseline material that you will now use to differentiate yourself from others in your space, okay? You don't want to be a person where other people can look at your stuff and say, well, hey, everything they just said, I can say that too. You don't want to be that person, because then you become a commodity, and you don't want to be easily replaceable, also known as being fungible. Point number 3. The topic once again today is, what is your reason for existing? Why do we need you in the marketplace? Number 3, a lot of people don't know this, and their actions show that they don't, but here's the truth that you need to understand. Okay, write this down. Your ability to differentiate yourself through your positioning is more important than your skill, your talent, and your hard work combined. Let me say that again, because you didn't write it down. I just told you to write it down. You weren't listening, so I'm going to say it again so you can write it down. Your ability to differentiate yourself through positioning, and positioning, by the way, is how you talk about yourself, is more important when it comes to your marketplace value than your skill, talent, and hard work all put together. The reason why this is so important, the reason I'm telling you this, to write this down, is because so many people operate their lives as if their skill, talent, and hard work is the thing that's going to separate them. Your teachers, your coaches, your motivators have all told you your entire lives, your big brothers and sisters, that if you are skilled, you work on your game, you have talent, and you work hard, that's going to separate you from everybody else, right? No, that's wrong. Maybe when you're at the amateur levels and you're going against people who aren't very skilled or don't work really hard, maybe you can separate yourself from them. But once you get to the pro level, that's not going to separate you, because everybody has skill, talent, and most of the people in there work hard. So now who are you? If that's all you got, you're nobody. You are a commodity. So it's the positioning. It's how do you talk about yourself that makes you different. And again, you don't have to be better, folks. I talked about this a few days ago. It's not about being better, it's about being different. Think about the George Foreman grill. How many of you got a George Foreman grill? Probably everybody. All right, what is the Foreman grill? What's special about the George Foreman grill? Absolutely nothing. There's nothing special about that grill. The only thing that makes it special is the way that it got positioned. They started selling this little grill on Home Shopping Network, QVC, and selling it by infomercial, and that's how the thing got big. And George Foreman made more money in endorsements off of that than any athlete has ever made in endorsements when he did that, except maybe Michael Jordan. That's it. Why? Because they changed the positioning of the product, not because the product was anything special. Y'all reading between the lines of what I just said? If you read between the lines of what I just said, I just gave you some marketing gold right there. That you don't have to be better than other people, and even if you think you're better, it'll be impossible to prove it. What you want to do is position yourself so that people understand why you're different. That's how you get attention. You do not get attention by being better. You get attention by being different. And do not think that your difference is going to be, well, I'm just better than everybody else. All right, now you're just kind of being stubborn. Now, if you are indeed better than everybody, head and shoulders clearly better than everybody, then okay, but there can only be one of those. So you can go for that, but if you don't make it, all right, now you're going to fall off the edge of the cliff. Don't say that nobody told you. So you can try that if you want. I mean, it's your life. The reason why the hard work, skill, and talent don't differentiate you, because at the pro level, everybody has that. But when you're different and still good, then you can't be replaced. And the value of things, everybody has an inverse relationship to their availability. How many people do you know who work hard? Exactly. How many people do you know who have skill and talent? How many people do you know who are good at what they do? Exactly. Now, how many people do you know who cannot be replaced? Now, that's a different question. So which one is more valuable? The group that only has one answer, or the group that has 50 answers? The most valuable person is the one who is hardest to replace, not the person who is the best. The one who is hardest to replace is the best, or the most valuable, So stay good at what you do. Keep working hard at what you do. Continue to have skills, but figure out a way that you can position yourself as being so different and unique that while you are valuable, all roads lead to you. There are no alternatives. When there are no alternatives to what you're offering, people don't have a choice but to accept your terms. So those of you who have iPhones and you have Apple products like iPads and MacBooks and all of that stuff, you're probably not interested in any other devices in that space when it comes to your laptops, your tablets, and your phones. So whatever price Apple tells you to pay for that phone, you know what? You're going to pay it. Why? Because you don't see another option. It's not that there aren't other options. You don't see another option. That's called positioning. And when you can get to a dominant position in your marketplace, then you dominate. All right. Is Apple in a dominant position? I would think so. All right. All you know who they are, don't you? Okay. So when you have people's attention and they're buying from you, then you can show them everything else you can do. To make this really simple, just position yourself as different, not as better, not as a hard worker. Please don't position yourself as a hard worker. All right. If you're 12 years old, you could be a hard worker. All right, but once you become an adult, all right, throw the hard work thing to the side. Keep working hard, but do not use that as a differentiator because it isn't. All right. Even though I'm sure you are one. All right. That does not differentiate adults. So with all that said, let's recap today's class, which is, what is your reason for existing? Why do we need you? Again, shout out to Dan Kennedy. He's the one I heard pose the question in this way, even though I had talked about this before. I like his version of the question, so we'll use this one. Number one, if you disappeared off the face of the earth, what would be missing that we no longer have access to now without you? If you do not have an answer to this question, that means you are replaceable. What do people get from you that they cannot get elsewhere if you stopped offering it to them? So you may have several skill sets. I have several skills, but the through line for me is, as I told you, what people tell me. I focus on the through line. I do not focus on all the things that I'm capable of doing, because the people who are interested in me, they're not interested in all the things I can do. They usually focus on one specific thing, and that specific thing is the thing that you need to focus on. Ask the people in your audience, they will tell you. Number two, it leads to what I said. An easy way for you to answer this question: go to people who have already bought into you in whatever way, through their time, money, attention, energy, or focus, or some combination, and ask them, being that Mr. X or Mrs. X, I'm not the only person in the world who offers this thing, ABC. Why are you getting it from me when you can get it from all these other people? What do I bring that nobody else brings? Then be quiet. Whatever they tell you, ask enough people, you're going to hear the same thing over and over and over again. Whatever that thing is that you keep hearing, focus all your marketing based on that. That is exactly what you need to do. This is a simple hack for you to know exactly how to position yourself by letting the people who have already chosen you tell you why they chose you. And I want you to be clear here. Do not be so stubborn as to only focus on what you want to give people. Focus on what they are taking from you. Because it's kind of like if you set up a table at some kind of an outdoor event and you're selling products and you got 20 different products on the table and one product sells out and all the other products are still full because you didn't sell any of them. What are you going to do the next week? Are you going to come back and try to sell all 20 products again? Or are you going to get a table full of the one thing that sold out last time? If you're smart, you'll focus on the thing that sold out and throw all the other products to the side. This is what I mean when I say accurate thinking. All right, accurate thinking is not about you doing what you want to do. It is giving the people what they want. Okay, that's what accurate thinking is. So you don't want to be a person who is easily replaceable when you're trying to do everything. Do what the people are already telling you they're interested in. Number three, a lot of people don't know this, and the actions show that they don't know it. The truth is, your ability to differentiate yourself through positioning is more important than your skill, talent, and hard work all put together, because a lot of people have skill, talent, and work hard. How many people do you know who have skill, talent, and work hard? You probably know a lot. How many people do you know who are irreplaceable and they're the only one who can do what they do in their space, and there are people who are buying from them based on it? Sure, right. You might not know any. And if you do, if you know one, I guarantee you're doing pretty damn good. Why? Because they are irreplaceable. In marketing, you want to be as less replaceable as possible. So to make this simple, think about positioning yourself as different, not as better, and definitely not as a hard worker. Okay, I'm sure you're a hard worker, but again, if you're not a child, hard work is not going to differentiate you from anybody in the real world. All that said, 3 things for you to do now. Number 1, text me. Get my daily motivation. My number is 305-384-6894. Every single day you'll get that. Number 2, go to bulletproofbulletin.com, where not only will I give you your first issue of my Bulletproof Bulletin monthly magazine physically to your doorstep for free, I'm also going to give you a bunch of bonuses. Free access to all of those bonuses right now just for trying out, test driving the Bulletproof Bulletin for 30 days. Again, that's at bulletproofbulletin.com. And number 3, go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. Join my Bulletproof Mastermind. That's where I do a live training every week, a live open 2-hour conversation where we work on people's challenges. We talk about strategy, accountability, and execution above all. That is for anyone who is serious about taking your personal and professional growth to its next level and beyond, working directly with me and other serious people who are serious about their business and growth. That is at workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre all day.